morning, everyone. How are you doing? We are live, and just gonna see what kind of questions come in. Let me pull up the old feed here. I got Finn and Magic. It's 7:35 here in Northeast Ohio, and just going to see what questions come in on the chat. See what else I can tell you about. Let me get that turned off and I won't be distracted by the sound. 6 people already turned in, thanks for that. And you can see not a lot of action here, just came down here getting some work done. And these guys, every morning when I come down to work, they just charge down the stairs. You'll see it in a video I'll post later this weekend, but this morning Finn was waiting at the bottom of the stairs, and Magic and I were trying to come down, and he was just like a kid ready to pounce. And these guys, we finally came down, but Magic wants no part of being attacked every morning, so we managed through it. Hi, buddy. You're all in your tiny, he's in his tiny little curled up mode. So, fantastic. How you doing, Hillary and Anna and Elvie? Good to hear all you guys. Good morning, Paul. I've only had 1 cup of coffee this morning. Had quite a few beers last night, so needed the coffee this morning. But you know, you finish a hard week in your basement and you're ready on Friday night. So we did a Zoom call with my family for my mom's 78th birthday, which was kind of fun and all that good stuff. So we are doing great. Okay, the first question that's come in is, can I have 2 male Great Danes? Well, that's exactly what I have here with these guys. Magic is my 5-year-old brindle, 5.5 now, I guess. And Finn is a 2.5 fawn. And if I back up a little bit, my first Dane was Hilda, female. Her picture's over here, you can't see it. My second Dane was Frederick, a male fawn, beautiful, big dog. And it's the first time that I got 2 dogs at the same time, 2 Danes, is when I had Frederick. And then we got Ferris, and Ferris was a puppy. And I'll tell you what, it was a big age gap. Frederick was about 6 years old, I think, when we got Ferris. And so this little 8-week-old puppy came in and just terrorized Frederick and made him seem old immediately. So I think a little bit closer in age, like we have with these 2 guys. Now, when we lost Frederick, later on we came back and added Magic. So then we had Ferris and Magic, and those 2 got along amazingly. We would board them in the same kennel when we would go there, and it really worked out great. And unfortunately, as you may know the story, Ferris was a little bit not right in the head, wound up becoming a biter, and I had to put him down after a pretty horrific accident. Not even accident, just an unfortunate bite that he did on our student who was staying with us. And so it was then 2 days later where we got Finn, and Finn's just a little rambunctious, but it works well. So yeah, the answer is you can have 2 male Great Danes. I would get them neutered, and I would have neutered Finn a little earlier than 1 year because he has a habit of marking. Now it's okay if he goes outside and marks wherever Magic went, but when he's inside, he's marked a few times, and I don't dig that. So I would neuter, and that's also when I would tack their stomachs. As you may know, it's about an $800 or $900 procedure here in Ohio, but they get neutered and their stomach gets tacked. It's called prophylactic gastropexy, and that attaches their stomach to their sidewall, and we avoid bloats that way. So fantastic. Next question is, how much is an average puppy? Thank you for that, Jenny Gerhardt. And in the comments, just put where you're from, what state, what country, whatever. Just interested to know who's watching. But average puppy, well, this is an interesting question, and one that you want to be careful about the answer. You do not want the best priced puppy. Someone who's selling Great Dane puppies for $500, you probably ought to question, what are they doing? How much have they put into the breeding? Because it's expensive, and if you get a litter of 11 puppies and you have to do all the vet care and feeding and the rest of it, you've got a lot in that litter. Also, you should not be breeding these dogs every time they come into season. So my answer for a puppy would be you should look for something north of $1,500. I think Finn was $2,200. Magic would have been about $2,200, or a puppy out of that breeder. But because I was willing to take Magic at 7 months, so if you can't afford $2,200 or $1,500, you can rescue, you can adopt. So I got Magic at 7 months because everyone wants a puppy. At 7 months, I got Magic for my puppy deposit, which was $200. So if you're, flexible, you can find it. But that's the answer to that. I'll try and keep these quick answers out there. Okay, the next question comes in from Vasily from Serbia. Hello. He's got a Dalmatian. He's got Chapinois. Girls, we love Finn and Magic, and he hopes to get a blue Great Dane next year. Well, good luck with that. I'll try and stay on camera maybe when I'm answering these questions would be better. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next question here. And if we take a look, thank you, Western Australia, Jenny. Good to hear that. Oh, okay, I like this. We got some great questions coming in, so that's fantastic. So Elva is getting the first male in 7 weeks, and then a fawn at the end of the year. So, I think that's good. Training them is a critical piece of this to be successful. Someone just tell me how the audio is. I don't have a microphone running today, so just tell me you can hear me fine, or if it could be better, I'm happy to hear that as well. So good luck. That's fantastic. Definitely. Okay, Jaya Manalglam says, what will you feed to your dog? What I will feed to my dog, this is something I'm pretty open about, and I think it's important to be open. I work for Nestle. I've worked for Nestle for 30 years, and it's been a great place to work, great employer, I think great products. And because we are the largest food and beverage company in the world, we're also one of the largest pet food companies, with Purina and Friskies. And in that Purina line, we have Pro Plan, which is a very high quality commercial dog food that immediately turns off X% of the people watching who only want to feed raw or give their own diet. I can't please those folks, but any general vet is going to say Pro Plan is a perfectly fine food to give your dog. You never give puppy food to these dogs. Magic, come here. Come over here. Come here. No, he doesn't want to be on camera right now. You never give puppy food to these dogs. You give an adult, large dog food, which is what I feed. And so that's my answer, Pro Plan. But I'm not really here to be a commercial for Pro Plan, but I would just tell you, find a good high quality food, something that's recommended by your vet, and your breeder will also steer you towards some. And you got to figure out your own path on food. All I can tell you is that for 5 Great Danes since 1992, I have fed Pro Plan, and the guys do fine. So that is my answer on food. You can figure out your own decisions on that. So Paul Lo Pinto. Hello, Paul. Thank you very much. The question I'm getting, and you guys can see the questions as well, I hope. Do I have any regrets about having a Great Dane? And I'll tell you, I really don't have any regrets. I guess that's why I'm on number 4 and number 5. They are just a huge part of my life. I love dogs. I grew up with golden retrievers. But for me, the Great Danes, their size is just really fun, and their personality is tremendous. And they absolutely like kind of one owner, one pack leader. And in my house, that's me. No matter who's home, they want to be with me. So when everyone gets up in the morning, they'll run upstairs and see what's what. This one, we'll see if he can get any additional, can't say it. But generally, they're going to be right back down here with me, and happy to be here. So no regrets. I think there's no such thing as the best dog breed, but it's the one I've really enjoyed. And, I don't like at 6 years old when all of a sudden they bloat and you're faced with having to euthanize them or go through a surgery that may or may not be successful. But they are just tremendous for me. Okay, now let's see the next answer or question. Somebody was asking about which is better, female or male Great Dane. They're, again, not anything better. I guess their personalities might be different. We had no issues with Hilda, our first Dane, the only female I've had. But she only got to be 100 or 120 pounds. She did not look like a typical Great Dane. And so I never liked when people would get confused and asked if it's a greyhound or what have you. She was a tremendous dog, great personality. But then I went for the male fawn because that was more the classic Great Dane, and Frederick was just very big, and there was no doubt. So I like the males because of their size, probably more like 150 to 170, whereas the girls might be more like 120 to 140 or something like that. But the nice thing about a female is they're going to have a smaller head and a little less lip, which may give you less slobber. So that could be a benefit of the female. So hopefully that answers your question. We got Western Australia here, got our friend from New York. Greece on the line, fantastic. So the question from Anna in Greece is, how much exercise does a big dog like this need? And for me, if you can get them out for a walk, a 1 mile walk every day, I think they'd be ecstatic. I've got a reasonable backyard where they can run around, and you saw Finn going crazy in one of the earlier videos. I do have a park I can take them to and let them loose. Letting them loose, I think, comes with some risk, the risk being like a sports injury. If they're out tearing across and running like that, I have been concerned. I don't do it all the time, because what if they tore their ACL or something like that? Now you've got a 150 pound or 170 pound dog. You have to help not put any weight on that leg and carry a sling when they want to go to the bathroom. I just can't imagine what that would be like. So that's a little bit of the downside. But the amount of exercise they need is not huge. I would say they tire out quite quickly. They're not a dog like a border collie that you're going to get and go running 5 miles a day. I just don't think that would be good for them. But this is the perfect setting for a Great Dane. They like to do just that. And Magic's not fully on camera, but I want to put him on there for you. And so you can see him now. Get a little look at Magic. Okay. And then back to me and the dogs. Yeah, so they don't need a ton of exercise. They do like to be in the house with you, is really their preferred operating mode. Let me see what the next one is. So we're hearing in Serbia it's between $500 and $1,000. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I see our friend from New York paying $2,000, so that seems to be variable. The price is one thing, but if you're going for a purebred Great Dane, you need to meet the dad and the mom of the dog. You need to get to know the breeder. They should not be just willing to give their puppies away to anyone. They should have a clause in their contract that says, no matter what happens to the dog, if you can't keep them, it comes back to me, the breeder. And many will require a fence, and not an electric fence, but a real fence, because that keeps people out and your dog in, so you don't wind up with someone wandering into your yard and potentially getting bit, or you having problems or things like that. Yeah, so the breeder is important, and why did they breed? And the whole point of breeding Great Danes is to further the breed and breed for the best things. Number one, temperament. Number two, conformation and look. And then what you can find is out of those litters, dogs that are not going to be going to a show home will be available as a companion. They may just have some faults. Finn here, he's pretty good, but some of these fawns can get a lot of black hair in their coat. They call it a sooty fawn, and that would be something, that's what Frederick was. So we got this amazing dog that just had a slight imperfection in the coat, and then we got him for ourselves. So let me continue down here a little bit. Ohio in the house, Spartan 54.99. Thank you very much. And yes, we can hear you, so that's also good. Oh, how can a Great Dane stay alone at home? Well, first of all, once they get through the puppy stage, I would say that these dogs can not need to go to the bathroom, but every 8 to 12 hours. And if it's raining, Magic might wait a whole day. He hates the rain. But Yeah, I think they do fine. And I think once you get out of puppy stage, which everyone laughs if they don't know Great Danes, that it takes till age 2 till they're no longer a puppy. So now Finn is loose. The only reason we put Finn away when we're gone now is so that he wouldn't constantly terrorize Magic, but even that's getting better. But if you're 5.5, you don't want your little nephew just wrestling with you all the time. So they can stay loose. Finn is sleeping out at night. And this morning I found him in his stall and with the door open. So that's sort of his cozy place. And that's how you want crate training to work, like their den. So it's a place they go and it's safe. It's not a place they get put when they're being punished. And it's working out great. And I have a camera and I can make sure that Finn doesn't get on the couch. And if I see him on the couch, he gets corrected. But he did that one night and he hasn't been back. So I spoiled him by letting him down here. And I don't let him on the couch upstairs because it's just too much slobber and hair. Doesn't work out for me. Okay, I love the questions. This is great stuff that you guys are sending in, so thanks a lot. And thanks, Hillary. Finn is looking cute in his little tiny curled up position. He's very good that way. Okay. So they can eat as much as a human-sized plate, so cost if you feed them raw. It'll cost more if you feed them raw than what you feed them now. For sure, raw would cost more. Okay, Jenny asking me, will I ever get a different breed of dog? I was thinking about an Irish Wolfhound. I think an Irish Wolfhound would be kind of fun. Maybe it's more hair. I don't think I'll actually do it, but those are giant dogs that appeal to me. Some of the same drawbacks, short lifespan, etc. But the reality is, I think my wife will like to have a little dog. We had a Bichon Frise, and she just likes that little dog that she can have with her in her lap. So, I don't know. Me personally, I would not probably say I want a different dog, but I know Heidi might. But you never know. French Bulldogs, which is what Jackie Lawrence is breeding now, she's the breeder of Magic. I would look at a French Bulldog from Jackie more than anything just because I know what kind of great person and great breeder she is. So she had Shady Creek Great Danes. You can look on the Shady Creek Great Danes website and see many of her breedings and champions that she produced. Okay, someone else asked me, what does it cost to maintain the dogs for a month? And I guess that depends. Once you get through all the vet bills and the puppy shots and all that, that's one thing. But the dog food I feed, I mentioned earlier, Pro Plan, it's about 850 pounds for 2 dogs a year. So let's call it 500 pounds of dog food a year. And those bags are $52 for 34 pounds. And I can't do the math on that, but you could. But they go through about almost 2 bags of dog food a month, if that sounds about right. I think it is about right. And so I guess it would be like $50 a month for dog food. And then the vet bills, when you go to the vet, you're talking about $100, $150 depending on what you're needing to do. You'd have heartworm medicine and tick and flea if you chose to treat for tick and flea. So those are really some of the costs. I think basically you get a little more expense at the vet because they need more of a particular drug or more anesthesia if they're having a procedure. But I mentioned that the neuter and stomach tacking surgery done at the same time will be about $700 to $900. And that's the big expense, I would say, at the early stage of their life. And then just regular care and once or twice a year well dog checkups. That's it. Super. All right. How much is it going to... I don't have any regrets either, Paulo says. Thanks for answering, you bet. India here. How to look for a good breeder. I think I did cover that, so you can go back and check that out. All right. Very good stuff. Thank you that. Ooh, Jenny, thanks for the question on dog parks. Can you take them to a dog park for big dogs? I did do that with a couple of my Danes. I would say that I don't enjoy dog parks, mainly because I don't think the owners, the owners don't make good decisions. And so oftentimes you'll have dogs in there that have no business being at a dog park, and I think in reality it's more stress for the dogs because they're in this unfamiliar setting, and you've got this dominance and submission and what's going on. If for me with these two dogs, I don't need a big dog park. I take them to the lake. They run around a little bit, and even there, the first 5 minutes are pretty scary. You can watch my videos and see that, but then they settle down and they just walk around and sniff everything, and it's back to normal. So, not a big fan of dog parks. I much rather would go to like the green, the town green, where there's more people than dogs, and meet the occasional dog. But it's for me, these guys like meeting people as much as dogs. I think that's my belief on that one. Ever have a Great Dane tear an Achilles or an ACL? I have not had that problem, luckily. We got a new puppy watching from New Jersey, Andrea. Thanks for watching, Andrea. And then Chrissy says, I'm testing a Great Dane in a few months. I don't know. I think she means getting. Yep, there it is, getting. So getting a new dog in a few months. Are they difficult to house train? I don't think they are difficult to house train. Are you going to have the occasional puddle? Yeah. But it's really about you as the owner and the discipline you have. So here's my quick house training tip. House training, I would say, is I use a crate training. So the dog is in a crate, and the crate is only big enough for the dog to lay down and sleep and turn around. If it's so big, they'll pee or poop in one end and sleep in the other. But there's a phrase, don't where you eat. And so what I would, the way you go about this is, you take the dog outside. As soon as it goes to the bathroom, you praise it, good boy, whatever. You encourage it. I just say, go potty, and then when they go, you praise them outside on the grass. Then you bring them in and you have playtime. Start with 10 minutes. Build up 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But anytime the dog's going to come out of their crate, or their house, as I call it, they go outside immediately, and they go to the bathroom, and then they can have free time. And you're just watching all the time. And let's say the dog starts to pee. You give them a firm no, you pick them up midstream, you take them outside, and then you praise for outside. About 2 or 3 cycles of that, and I think the dogs will get it. So I think potty training's pretty easy. And every time after they eat, you would want to let them go outside, because that's typically going to result in a poop. And so, these guys basically go out like 3 or 4 times a day right now. And they could go out as much as they want. They just don't really desire to do so. Finn doesn't even answer. Finn a little bit more so. I'm going to give us a little better angle of old Magic. That's got to give us something better, right? Yeah, we like that better. There we go. Aw, Finn. Anyway, forget where I was, but yeah, they don't go outside that much, but just look at how cute he is all curled up here. It's just the best. Okay. Hey, Beth Carroll, good to see you. You made it. Yay. I like that too. Do they get along with other dogs? Magic gets along with every other dog. Finn is a work in progress, so I haven't had a chance lately to really do that, but like when I bring Magic to bring to work, the first time I did, I was nervous. Then when I found out he got along with everyone, 100% confidence now. When we're on a walk, if he doesn't get to meet the dog, he gets all whiny, and it looks like he would, overreact. And we're not meeting people right now with quarantine and social distancing. But otherwise, I'm very confident. It all depends on how that other dog reacts to my dog. Magic, I think, presents something fairly calm, but he's also so huge he could make a dog be defensive, and then that could cause a problem. So, in general, pretty good with other dogs, but it's a case-by-case basis, and it's a function of repeatedly introducing them to other dogs and letting them know it's okay and they don't have to defend you or attack people and this sort of thing. Okay, thanks for your patience as I try and read these questions. Yeah, thank you for the comment from Pete the Bastard about you must be from Australia, that the Danes were able to take down Kangaroos, yeah, that's not a trait. You don't want a big prey-driven animal that's going to go after things like that. That's not really something you breed for. Are the Great Danes so calm and friendly, or did you work on training them? I would say this is their general demeanor. Now, when a FedEx truck comes or an Amazon truck comes, they go berserk. And so Finn even used to run and charge the front window and put his paws up on the pane. And we've been able to train him not to do that with giving him corrections when that's happening, making him hold a downstay when the truck comes. But generally, this is what you get. This is nearly all day. I mean, how hard could that be? Did you guys like that last video where I talked about petting the Danes? Because it really, I've been doing it a lot more. It just reminded me like how awesome it is to have these guys. And I think they like it. You walk by and you give them that little pet. It's fantastic. All right, let's see what other questions we have on here. How long did my previous Danes live? Let me give you that question. So my previous Danes, I mentioned Hilda lived to be almost 9. She bloated at 7. We had the surgery and she lived another 18 months or so. Not great bowel function. It didn't give me a super positive experience about once a dog bloats and has gastric torsion, if the surgery is right. So then we had Frederick. He got to be about age 7 and he bloated, and once he bloated, I put him down because he was already missing one eye, his hips were going, and I wasn't going to put him through that. My wife didn't speak to me for 3 days when I made that decision, which is a hard decision, but it was the right decision. So if you're going to have a Great Dane, you probably better be pretty strong about making decisions that are rational versus emotional, or you'll probably go through a whole bunch of craziness. So that was Frederick. So we have 9 years and roughly 7. Then we had Ferris, who was very healthy. He had his stomach tacked, but he was just kind of miswired, and he was fear aggressive. We had him since he was a puppy. I trained him the same way I did all the other dogs, and it just didn't work out. He wound up multiple bites, and I did have to put him down at age 5. It was just unfortunate, but you cannot have a dog that's biting with this size and power. It's just too big of a risk and inappropriate. So I would say he was not bred with the right temperament. I met his uncle, and that dog was very fearful and shy of me when I met him, and that should have been a warning sign for me, but I missed that sign. And so, you know, no harm, I guess. I mean, there was some harm, but we got through it. So, and then the next dog is Magic, who's 5.5, and Finn is 2.5. So, you know, I hope Magic lives to be 10. Even at age 5, when you start to see that gray coming in, you start to get nervous or think about, oh my, I wonder how much time I have left with this dog. So I'm just really appreciating him as much as I can, because he is, I hate to say it because you love all your dogs, but I think he's one of the best dogs we've had. So let's see. Oh, Pete said my mustache, or mo as they call it in Australia, was looking strong. Thank you for that. It was a good run, but with being quarantined and no one seeing it and got off track, it wasn't doing what it needed to do. I decided just to, with the short haircut, no mustache, but it'll be back. Also, I grow that for a charity cancer ride I do every July, and that got turned to a virtual ride now, unfortunately. So part of having that big mustache is taking it out and having fun with it, and that wasn't happening. So anyway, plus the mask will cover it now. Thanks. All right, what else do we have here? All right. Yes, they do get along well. I like how they're like horses. Yep, I've heard that before. And then, let's see. Beth, you got any questions, Beth? I think you've been around here enough you don't have any questions. Let's tackle Karen asking a question about drooling. Is it that bad? Well, the drooling that you saw in the video with the food for this guy, that's just a food reaction. So in general, he's not as bad with that. But, you know, it depends. I don't have any drool on the ceiling here, but upstairs in the dog room where we keep them with their stalls, there's drool on the ceiling all above Finn, because after they eat, they're full of drool, and they're going to, you know, shake their heads and it's going to go everywhere. But I'd say after they eat or drink, you could take, I have one of those cloths for their paws that you could just wipe their face off. And if we're not dealing with food or other dogs being around, I'd say the drool is quite low. But you get used to it. I mean, it comes with the territory. My house is not a showpiece, as you can see from the videos and some of the comments that said it's a mess, clean it up. We're working on it, but yeah. So there is drool, some more than others, but I think it's manageable, and you do get used to it. And the positives of this breed certainly outweigh the downside that you would see with the drool. All right, I'm coming to your question. I see it. Thank you very much. Kim Miller, I love sharing the Danes with you, so I'm glad you're watching. It is kind of like being with them. Ah, yes, Don Smith. We trained our dog to hit the jingle bells. So we used to have a bell on the door, and these guys just walk to the back door. Even though they don't go out through the back door, they go to the back door and they paw it. Hi, what's up? You gonna fall off the couch again? And so yeah, they can tell you that they want to go out. Magic, he will just come and be a pest, and you don't know if he wants or if he wants to go out. So then you just ask him and you walk for the door, and he'll tell you. So the only accidents they've had is when we've been stuck away for too long and I couldn't get someone to get home, and he might have peed and they'll pee right at the door or something like that, but generally not an issue. So that's great. Is it advisable to get the stomach tacked? Yeah, if you're tuning in a little bit later, absolutely. I do recommend it. I've now done it with my three latest Danes. The data that I've seen say that it will be like 90% preventative of the torsion. You may still get bloat, and the risk for bloat and gastric torsion really goes up after age 6. It comes with older age as well as stress. The height of the food bowls, up or down, I think it doesn't matter. Tacking the stomach is way more important. So I've researched it enough. I follow what my breeders say. When I first got dogs in the 1990s, they said, make sure the dog bowl is elevated. So I elevated it, and both of those dogs bloated. Then they said, oh no, actually put them on the ground. It's not been shown to be helpful. In fact, the studies showed that raised bowls actually caused more bloat, but it was, there's flaws in the study. So do what you think is best. But the main thing, I think, is getting that stomach tack, definitely. Okay, gonna keep going here, and because I saw another question down here from Beth. Beth lives alone, and do you think it would be a problem when you get yours? And you do have cats. Okay, no, I don't think it'll be a problem living alone at all. They won't have to choose who they're going to attach to. They're going to attach to you, Beth. That's who they're going to love. You may need a dog walker or someone who they can get to know and trust, that if you're going to be away for too long, they can come and let the dog out so they're not going to be too far away. And I think socializing them with the cat real early, as opposed to adversarial, but that they get along. I think there's great stories of Danes getting along with cats. So I think that would be just fine. Oh, yeah. Okay, quick question on quantity. Finn eats 3 cups a day. Well, I offer him 3 cups of food a day, 3 times a day. So 3 cups 3 times a day. 7 in the morning, noon, and 5 at night. He doesn't eat all those servings. In fact, this guy sneaks and gets some of those servings, which is why he got to be 170 pounds. Magic is now eating just barely 2 cups in the morning, slightly less than a cup at lunch, just to keep him from bugging me, and then another 2 cups at dinner. And I think that's about right. He's losing a little bit of weight, but I think if I got him a little more exercise, we'd be fine. So that's the feeding on that one. Okay, you got it, Karen, on the drool, definitely. Why do you have the boys on leashes in the house? Oh, great question. Thank you for that, Arnie. So, with the training, and look, I'm an old school trainer. I use training collars and leashes, and I give a correction, and that gets criticized by people, but that's, people need to do. I love my dogs. I would never hurt them, but do I give them direction? Do they know who's in charge? Yes. When the leash is on in the house, it's sort of that weight of the leash and the collar being on just sort of reminds them that they're listening to you and they're looking for direction to you, that you're the pack leader. And so it also allows you to give a correction if they're not behaving correctly. You know, the alternate form is all positive reinforcement, treat training, etc. I don't criticize that at all, so if you want to do that, fine. Same with people saying you need the gentle leader or a harness or the nose thing. Look, I have a collar on. When I want them to heel, I ask them to heel. So, and now, you know, they don't have leashes or collars on in the house right now. But when Finn's going crazy, putting the leash on, he calms down and he doesn't go after Magic as much. So that's just a tactic that I learned when I went and took Ferris, my really problematic Dane, to some kind of extreme training. That's where a lot of these tactics were learned. When I brought him home and used him on Magic, who is such a pleaser, Magic totally adopted these. I barely had to give any correction, and he just wants to make you happy. And Finn's been a pretty good boy. You can see him hanging out there. Fantastic. Okay. Cody Stark's asking, at what age did Finn start to mellow out? I would say it's now, between age 2 and 2.5, which is longer, I think, than many dogs. But if you can find footage of his mother and his sister, Monkey, out there in California, and Monkey is just a terror as well. So this litter is a high energy litter, and I think that, you know, varies with how the breeds come out. Magic obviously is calm as could be. Okay, Danes are very trainable. Yes, they are. Treat them nice and calm, and they're highly trainable. Be stern. I agree with you, Pete. Definitely. Okay, I could. Suggestion from Beth. I could do a silly position calendar. So, anyway, that is my Saturday morning, and this works for my Australian viewers. By the way, I've been riding my bike on Zwift, and I took part in a New Zealand race last night. So I was with a whole bunch of Kiwis riding my bike in the virtual world called Zwift, and it was just tremendous. Great workout, and it's so funny to see all these people on their trainers around the world. Oh, Magic, you're getting your sad eyes now. Magic has this third eyelid that comes up, and it just looks like he's got a cherry eye or something, and it just happens randomly. It sticks around. Maybe it's when he's tired, and then he just pops two, and it's fine. So we've never had to treat that. All right. Okay, Anna, thanks for the question. Where do I leave them when we have to travel? Well, when we do get to travel again, I used to have a pet sitter that would come in, and I still do have one. It's a law student, a 23-year-old kid that I've known for 15 years, and he's known all the Danes. So he'll come in, Adam, and take care of the dogs. And that's going to be kind of like 3 or 4 visits a day. But otherwise, I take them to the kennel. There's plenty of videos in my channel on the Twinsburg Pet Lodge, and they know the boys well. I think they bark an awful lot when they're there. It's probably stressful, but they manage. So we take them to the Pet Lodge, and yeah, it works out well. And there they walk them, they take them out, they let them out, and they're attached to a vet facility, which is nice if anything were to happen. Hey, Don Smith. Yeah, I used to get so many videos, mostly pictures of Great Dane owners. So if you guys have a Dane and you're watching, keep sending me pictures. I like videos better. When you shoot the video, hold your phone horizontally. It makes for a good video. And yeah, maybe I'll go find a whole bunch of those and make a collection of other Dane videos. It's fantastic. I'm also looking for my early videos of Hilda, so we'll be able to do some throwback videos of when I had Hilda. And you'll see what I looked like 30 years ago and what my little girl Hilda looked like. She was a lot of fun, and that was the very early stages of being a Dane owner. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up. And Arnie asking about Danes for service work. I have someone on here who watches and is very active with her dog Gemini doing service work. Now, Magic would have been a great dog for service work, but you know, I didn't realize it till late, and because their lifespan's not so long, it's a lot of training work and certification, I guess, like I wouldn't bother now with Magic to do it, even though he's awesome. Right, buddy? But I think if you wanted to do that, they could be very good at that if you got the right temperament, which is exactly what you're supposed to be training for anyway. All right, hey guys, let's end it there. Happy Saturday morning if you're in North America. Happy tomorrow morning if you're in Australia. And with that, I'm just gonna say, have a great day.